So, ladies and gentlemen, I've been watching the Premier League games, and my God, what fantastic games! Fantastic! Manchester United Leicester City was a very good game, blockbuster game. But if you really had your money's worth, you think that okay, that game was epic. Just go and watch the highlights of Wolves versus Aston Villa. I swear to God, goosebumps. Ruben Neves, oh my God, dying minutes. That takes a deflection and goes in. I love Premier League. That's why Patrice Evra would say, and rightfully so, I love this game. This is so beautiful, man. And Manchester United lose, and they're like 4 points away from Liverpool, who are top of the table at the moment. So it is turning. I mean, the heat is on. It's different, and it is really, really superb clashes. What do we have for you in this episode? Some training images, some details as to if Arsenal go for Dominic Calvert-Lewin. What is, you know, where does the money go? Like, you know, before Everton, he was a Sheffield United player. So we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about Arsenal fans. Well, they have come to know that Barcelona are interested in. Barcelona have put a 1 billion release clause on Pedri. So Arsenal fans want a release clause on Saka and Emil Smith Rowe, something like that. So we're going to talk about that as well. So stay tuned for that. And if you see daily Arsenal content, best place to be, consider subscribing. You'll be wondering why. You might be wondering why am I looking like this, or as a different. I've changed the camera angles, and I've changed the way I've seated, just to the too much exposure from the lights, or too much light that was actually going in. Just trying certain things, and I think this looks better. So let's talk about the training images. Of course, Aubameyang becomes Travis Scott again. Travis Scott strikes back, but remember last time when Aubameyang became Travis Scott, he was really bad on the pitch. Yeah, really bad. So Arteta and Aubameyang have a word with each other. Of course, I might see Aubameyang start tomorrow. And then there is Bukayo Saka, who's back. Eddie Nketiah and Martin Odegaard, they're back as well. I don't know if Nketiah left, but Odegaard definitely is back. Albert Sambi Lokonga, Cedric Soares is at the back, and Thomas Partey as well. There we go. There's the Travis Scott of Arsenal. Yep, Travis Scott is here, and so is Emil Smith Rowe after scoring the lone goal between for England under 21s or under 21s. I just keep mixing this up. Well, okay, whatever. So he scored the winning goal, which was a very important goal. So he's back to the training ground, and so is Sambi. I don't even know if he left, but here's Bukayo. Crazy talent in the images that I am actually using. So talking about more stuff, Arsenal, according to Fischages.net, they have said that Arsenal and Mikel Arteta have finally selected the chosen one to replace Alex Lacazette, and it is none other than Luka Jovic. Like, why? There's no credibility as to, apart from his Eintracht Frankfurt career, Luka Jovic has hardly done anything at Real Madrid that is really extraordinary, or even ordinary for that matter. So, Real Madrid striker Luka Jovic is Arteta's chosen one to replace Lacazette, according to Fischages. Real are ready to let Jovic leave as they look to raise funds for their pursuit of Kylian Mbappe and, of course, Erling Haaland. These are the two kind of players you'd see Real Madrid, Los Blancos wanting to get. But I mean, it's not just how you would want to get Erling Haaland away from Dortmund. It's about his agent. It's not easy at all. So it looks like yes, Luka Jovic, unbelievable season with Eintracht Frankfurt, 27 goals in 48 games. But since then, 2 goals in 32 appearances across 3 seasons. 32 appearances, 2 goals. He actually went back to Frankfurt as well on loan last campaign, bagging 4 goals in 8 starts, and that somehow did not just suit. So it looks like, yes, Lacazette is leaving, but will Luka Jovic, is Luka Jovic the right kind of player profile that Arsenal should look at? Let me know in the comments. What do you guys feel about it? In the comments, I need to know, man. You guys don't comment, man. And Arsenal pressing to sign Noah Lang now. We all saw that how Noah Lang's agent met with AC Milan. I think some days back I shared that image as well, which was shared on social media, so I shared it with you guys. So Yes, Noah Lang's agent met AC Milan, so and they did that because Rossoneri or AC Milan wanted to know what is the price tag for the youngster. So Paolo Maldini and Frederic Massara took advantage of October's international break to meet agents and intermediaries. They met Noah Lang's agent just to find out the cost needed to complete his signing and the details of other clubs interested in Club Brugge. Arsenal get a mention and it is claimed Arteta's side are among the English sides pressing for the Dutchman. The report even states that Arsenal are in the front row, meaning they are ahead of Milan. They are ahead of Milan. So Maldini and Massara have made a note of all these factors, and in the coming weeks and months, that will decide whether or not Milan will make concrete offers or efforts to sign the player. I don't even know if there's going to be some concrete efforts, but Noah Lang is definitely one really hot property in the transfer market. Will Arsenal get it done? I don't know, but they should. If they're trying to, they should definitely get it done, man. It's not a very bad thing at all. So, moving on, Jamie Carragher has named certain signings that Arsenal must make in the next 4 transfer windows. Carragher believes Arsenal must continue spending in the upcoming transfer windows in order to challenge for the Premier League title again. So, what did he actually say? So Carragher says, he actually spoke on Sky Sports Overlap Forum. He says, you look at the teams challenging for the league now, and that's where Arsenal are trying to get to. You need world-class players. They have 2 or 3 young players, Saka, Smith Rowe and Odegaard. They're not world-class, but they have the potential to be special. But they won't get all, but they won't all get there. They won't all get to the level that's needed to challenge for the title. So they'll need to keep spending in the next 3 or 4 transfer windows. So whether Edu and Arteta are actually going to take Carragher's advice or not, well, nobody knows. So Edu actually spoke to Sky Sports also. He said, I think we have to see the wider context than just see the money around it. We signed 6 players who are under 23, which means a lot in terms of our planning. Normally people like to see just one window. So I have to say it is a bigger picture because we started planning this squad a year ago in terms of consolidating the team and to try to get a better foundation. So now that if this was the older terms, like this was what Edu said when after the transfer window got completed as well. So it's pretty much clear if it's a long-term route and if Arsenal are building for the future, in the subsequent windows, will we see certain players who have developed like Sterling or some players that have really excelled in their league careers, maybe somewhere else, maybe in the Premier League, like Calvert-Lewin. He's actually a well polished English striker. Are we really considering Calvert-Lewin? Are we actually, is there another dimension to the idea that Arsenal are putting in to sign players, the criteria that they have, the young players, very young? I like that. I won't say no to that, but is there another term? Like, are we actually looking for some polished products who are young, who have done it already? Are we also getting in those kind of exciting territory as well? So I would want Arsenal to do that. 1 or 2 signings like that would be perfect. Like Sterling would be awesome. Calvert-Lewin would be really good. There's nothing wrong in that at all. But that would really take a lot of significant funds. But I don't think so that's a problem, yeah. Let's move on. So Sheffield United could actually benefit from Arsenal landing the 50 million star Dominic Calvert-Lewin. So before actually playing for Everton reportedly value Calvert-Lewin at £50 million, which means that Sheffield United, if they've been smart on this deal, could be set for a nice cash boost. Yes. So Calvert-Lewin, the Blades sold a striker back in 2016 for around £1.5 million. At the time, Chris Wilder took the decision to sell with the Blades languishing in League One. So let's see. That's going to be happening or not. So Arsenal fans are demanding a release clause on their youngsters. So Barcelona making sure that Pedri signs a new contract which has £1 billion release clause. The Premier League clubs rarely put a release clause into their own contract. Well, it's compulsory in La Liga, by the way. So yes, so yes, so I guess, yeah, there's this report in Football.London wherein certain journalists have actually wanting to put release clauses on Arsenal players as well. So Bailey Keogh says that Bukayo Saka, he should have £1 billion release clause. Emil Smith Rowe should have 700 million pound release clause. You know, Tom Canton says 1 billion for Saka and Emil Smith Rowe. Whatever. So, if Premier League had this rule of putting release clauses, how much of a release clause should be kept on Bukayo Saka and Emil Smith Rowe? Comment and let me know. You guys should comment. According to me, I think Saka, for what Pedri has been to Barcelona, of course, for Saka has been more than that for us. So I think 1 billion is really good, which tells that is almost like unsaleable. Same is for Emil Smith Rowe. I think Emil less than Saka, yes, but I think there's no point in putting less. I think 1 billion same, which tells to the market that no, not for sale, bro, not for sale at all. So with this, I'd like to end this episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you seek daily Arsenal content, best place to be. Consider subscribing. Cheers.